Senior Executive Dean of Lovely Professional University, uh, Dr. Pavitra Prakash Singh Ji, Professor and Associate Dean, LPU, Professor Rishi Chopra, Mr. Pankaj Vij, and my young friend Dr. Akash Deep Muni, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Journalism, esteemed faculty members, heads of departments, and dear students. Always a pleasure to be back at LPU, even if it is in virtual mode. Greetings from Asia's first journalism university and India's largest. Also greetings from the city of lakes, Bhopal. I congratulate the team for keeping a webinar on a very important topic, and that's scenario of media in India, present and future. Before the discussions begin, some bullet points I thought I'll share with you. As of now, media in India is going through a very critical phase, particularly post-COVID. Globally, we have seen newspapers winding up and switching over to the digital mode. As against this, India has always bucked the global trend. We thought that, in fact, many people started writing the obit of Indian newspapers following the COVID-19 pandemic, and they felt that the days are gone, and because some of the newspapers closed down, some went into online mode. So, like newspapers like DNA wound up. Outlook also, began its online editions. So people thought that the game is over. But with the rise in infodemic or overdose of information, there was a credibility crisis. People were looking for authentic, reliable, trustworthy information. As a result of which, I think that the strong editorial process, the strong filtration process in the newspapers has enabled it to survive this pandemic. And the newspapers are back, albeit in a comparatively lesser kind of version, in the sense in terms of pages, but newspapers are back to reckon with. If you look at the projected statistics in terms of advertisement which is expected to be invested, you have a huge 70,000 crore budget, ad budget for the media. And even today it is predicted that, of course the electronic media will continue to get the maximum 41% of, ad budget. But, and digital media is getting 28%, but newspapers are getting 25%. So that's not a very pessimistic scenario. If I look at it, I think that newspapers are coming out with multiple editions right from the district level. They may go to the taluka level also. And secondly, language journalism is growing by the day. More and more people are wanting to read, watch and listen to media in their respective languages. So languages are growing by the day. Language journalism is growing by the day. Now, on the other hand, another major trend is that during the COVID, we have seen people going back to the grassroots, rural journalism. Senior most journalists are now traveling to the rural areas. Rural journalism is no more about farmer suicides or some scam. People are actually going to the ground and trying to find out the actual conditions, the socio-economic conditions of the villages, and particularly after this massive reverse migration that has taken place, the state of primary health centers and other things. The second major trend, if you see newspapers, which is hugely welcome, I would say, is that the media is now has started to focus big time on education and on health. Now, these are two core areas which any developing nation should focus on. The pandemic has forced us to focus on these areas. Today, you see a large number of reports, where the focus is on health, on primary health centers, on the infrastructure in hospitals. Even today, I was just looking at the newspapers. You know, you had the Prime Minister taking a review meeting and saying that, uh, uh, oxygen requirements for the third wave, we should be in full preparations for that. Now, this is the kind of news that is making. So, health has become the focus. Similarly, education, which is again welcome. The national education policy, which came during the pandemic, has a projected allocation of 6% of GDP, which has always been recommended, and the focus is on online education and offline. Online education has grown like anything, but there are of course questions like digital divide and other things. But the media has started focusing on the problems of online education in a big way. Digital media has certainly grown, in terms of, as I said, an estimated projected growth of about 36%, as against 3.6% of the print media. But, digital media has also, of course, no doubt that smartphones usage has gone up, internet usage has gone up, but people are also concerned about the infodemic, the fake content, the fake narratives, the misinformation and disinformation. So there is a huge emphasis on fact checking. There is a huge emphasis on cross checking. The fundamental principles of journalism has to be brought back, and people are looking for reliable things. People, and the biggest change, to sum up, is that. It's a huge topic, but I'm just bringing out the broad parameters. The biggest change, I think, which has come in media is that consumers are today ready to pay for good content. Now, this was not the scenario earlier. For a newspaper which costs 30 rupees, to produce, people were paying only 2 to 3 rupees. And whereas people were ready to shell out 300 rupees for a packet of popcorn in a multiplex, but not ready to pay for information. But thanks to digitization, if people are ready to pay a couple of 100 rupees for a Netflix connect on their smartphones, that means people are ready to pay for quality content. I'm sure in the coming days they will be ready to pay for, channels also, ready to subscribe, pay channels instead of having just FTA, free to air. And also they will be ready to pay for independent news platforms, who do not compromise on the principles of journalism. That's very important. So, people need to. And the biggest change is that today it's no more a producer's market. Today you have huge user generated content that is there. Yes, it has a democratized media like never before. The so-called mainstream media cannot suppress information anymore. It will come out in some or the other form, but at the same time, the issue is that of reliability. The issue is that of building confidence in the content that the user generated content is producing. Do they follow the strong editorial processes that journalism is known for? That is very important. And last but not the least, in this scenario, I have all along been advocating for a national media literacy mission. Media is something that is, because it's the fourth estate, it is the fourth pillar of democracy. It's too important a subject. Today, from a 5-year-old child to a 95-year-old citizen, we are all getting exposed to media like never before. There are a lot of issues, including cyberbullying, pornography, a lot of issues are there. Given the kind of massive exposure to media right from childhood, it is important that right from school curriculum we incorporate media literacy as an integral part, and we ensure that our citizens get information, basic information of how the media functions. It's no more just for the students of media, but also for every citizen. The way we tell them about the Constitution of India, the way we tell them about our three other pillars, that is executive, legislature and judiciary, I think that every child in this country should also know about the functioning of media. That's very important. On that note, I will close my initial remarks. I'm ready for the debate. Thank you.